Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we prepare for Game 4 of this best-of-5 series in the upper bracket finals for LCS Challengers League. Dignitas still lead the series, but Cloud9 struck back. Joey, your prediction's looking more and more true as we go along, man. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at this stuff, but unfortunately, it's the end of the road now. It's Dignitas' time to win again.
Oh, every
Okay,
other,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes, right? I mean, it was 2 for Dignitas at first. I mean, the second game was like, holy moly, it's just like total Hoon domination. But we'll see whether or not they can continue that in their last game. Not last game, potentially last game.
Even he's believing it.
We don't know yet. We don't know. Cloud9
It's
can
in the
still
script.
show up. The difference between Cloud9 in Game 3 to Cloud9's Game 1 and 2, though, I felt like there was a difference. Like, Cloud9 showed up in lane, specifically in the bot lane, mid lane this time around, as opposed to Games 1 and 2, where they were kind of falling behind in those two.
Yeah, I like their Rakan takeaway. It's a 100% winner in the series now, so good for Rakan. I think that they played the volatile matchup really well. Like, Rakan versus Thresh Aphelios isn't an easy matchup for either side, and Cloud9 got the better hand of it. Obviously, Tomio came and ganked their lane a little bit and helped them a bit, but they played the matchup a lot better. And I think that that's kind of where Dignitas needs to look. They need to become more stable in the bot lane and kind of let Hoon carry a little bit more, because Hoon was still got that good lead. He went for a little random plays in the mid game to try to carry his team, but they didn't work out and they ended up losing because of them. But I think he played really good in the Rumble, and I think that it's just about that for Dignitas, shoring up, making sure Hoon can carry.
And for Cloud9, I like seeing focus on the bot side. I'd love to see more of that going into Game 4. That does it for our breakdown of Game number 1 from just our talking heads. You want to see some content here because it's a Rally Cry halftime show. So we're going to have Joey lead us in a little bit of a game right now. This is one that we've played before, where me and Josh will have to take turns using our MS Paint skills to draw parts from the game and then guess what each other's prompts are. Joey was the one that picked the prompts. Joey, how confident are you feeling on your pick selection?
I'd say half of them are good.
Half of them?
Yeah.
Maybe I got all 3 of them. I got all 3 of the good ones.
You know, all 3 of the... Oh, no. All right. So I haven't looked at mine yet. Josh pre-looked at this. So, Josh, you're going to go up first. You're actually going to lead us here. And then I'm going to have to guess what Josh is drawing. Afterwards, then I'm going to take my turn.
Yeah.
All right. Let's also pull up so that way I can actually do it on my end. So I'm going to have to multitask
make sure you guys can see it, right?
Yeah, we can see you.
All right, here we go. Bam.
Okay.
It's a pretty good start.
Let me move things around so I can see and also set up my own. It's a castle. It's a turret. Yeah, it looks like a turret.
Oh, okay. I see what you're drawing.
I'm not following the next part. It's... I gotta make this bigger on my screen. Scuttle crab?
No, hold on. Let me make this a little bit thicker.
Oh, thicker. Oh, thick. All right.
Gotta get the thick.
Made it as thick as you can. Well, okay, this is not helping.
All right, maybe we'll give you some hints. So, it's chronological, you know?
Chronologically. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is early game. This is probably the dive bot lane then? Cloud9 diving bot turret.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
I'd give it to him. Yeah.
All right, Lost gets the double kill and gets snowballed and
There you
accelerated
go.
in the game.
There you go, there you go.
Yeah.
You get Monkey coming over the wall.
Yeah. It came from behind.
That's what that was?
That's
Yeah,
Monkey.
Josh.
This is Wukong. I have so many characters I have to draw for this one.
Yeah, I mean, all of them is kind of like that, so good luck. But yeah, that one was, was waiting over the wall. And the ball, they got the initial 2v2 kill. They were going to get a kill anyway, but then Wukong came with the wall, secured the second kill for loss, and that really pushed the game, the early game for bowling.
It really
All
did.
right. Now, am I going or are we trading back and forth?
No, we're trading back and forth. So now it's over to me. I'm getting it set up here. Okay, I'm going to transition over, and now I have to read what Joey sent me. Oh, baby. Okay,
This one's a good one.
I can do this one. All right. Oh, no, that's the wrong color. That's the wrong color.
A worm.
No.
Close.
Okay. I got to see where I
stick.
can actually draw this. We're going to do this, and then...
Okay, red box.
And...
Something red. Rumble.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, that's Rumble.
Yeah. We're just gonna do that to finish out.
It's more Rumble. He's shooting flames, which is something that Rumble does.
This is creative. I like this.
Yeah. You like this?
Okay, 4 minutes.
maybe not as much the time, the exact
Clock.
time.
Stopwatch. Rumble stopwatch.
Oh, I'm making it worse.
Rumble.
Oh, no.
Rumble. Zonya's hourglass.
Oh.
Rumble on the clock.
How do I get out of this one?
Rumble on the clock because
Yeah,
before it gets outscaled.
Yeah, you got to help me out here, Joey.
What time is it, Joshi?
It is. It's Hoonin time.
Yeah. I was like, how do I get Hoon on there? How do I draw Hoon? I don't know. It's like, I'm not good enough to really convey the face.
There's a
All right,
great photo that we have in our group chat as well that you could have just put there.
Thumbs up.
I could have. Oh, I actually have the like PNG I made of him with like the big clock on and like the rocker sunglasses.
Oh, true. Could have used that.
I'm all right, now it's
All right.
Yoshi's turn.
All right, we
Your
going
second
back.
prompt that Joey gave you.
Bam. Let's
Wait,
get
now
rid
I
of
have to
all
pull
this
There's a lot
crap.
of links going on my screen right
All
now.
right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Bam.
Wait, Joshi, you have to show your
No.
paint screen. I like the sound effects though. That's a nice touch. Okay,
we're gonna give
this is Baron.
we're gonna give this
That's
eyes.
Baron.
Yep,
yeah.
that's Baron.
Yeah, okay,
This is a Baron pit. This is a
These are-
Baron fight.
These are eyes. Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Was this? If we're going chronologically, so Joey already gave me that hint. I'm trying to think. The first Baron was the sneak, right? So 20 minutes. It wasn't like a sneak, like Dignitas saw them, but Cloud9 was able to keep them out of the pit, and it was already like half health by the time
Yeah.
Dignitas noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
let's go.
We're doing it.
That was a big moment because then that Baron turned into what? 3 turrets? I want to say.
3 turns.
so.
Yeah. I had to
was
be
a lot.
very careful as I was like, oh, how do I do Baron's head? Oh, wait. This isn't what I
It's
wanted.
clearly Baron. I was following along the whole
Clearly
time.
Baron.
All right,
Very
all right.
clearly.
Okay,
That
but
situation was
Color
really well
codes can
played.
help. Yeah.
Really well
Yeah.
played by Cloud9. Like, it's a high-pressure game. They're on the verge of elimination, and to pull Baron like that, really keeping out the jungler so well, I thought they played that insanely well.
it was incredible. And I think Lost getting the double kill and that play were the 2 biggest moments for me in that game of like getting Cloud9 to that winning position. So let's take a look at what you have for me for my second prompt, Mr. Joey. Oh yeah.
Joey Wheeler.
Oh yeah. Oh, this one's fun.
Okay.
Wait, we get to run it back actually.
Run it back.
There's a couple of these, to be
Okay.
fair.
All right. But specifically.
You pick one.
It's when Zazel and Tomio jump over the wall and there's a big shockwave and they go
Yeah. That's all I need to do.
Yeah.
Let's go.
They executed their wombo combo pretty well
We're
this
in
game.
sync.
You saw it a lot in the mid game. I thought that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to play, but, I mean, they pulled it off really well,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you should highlight it.
And I definitely feel as though Dignitas, like, as soon as they start falling behind because they don't have any monsters they can put in defense mode, like, they're instantly going to get wrecked, right? Like, they don't have a whole lot to stop the engages. They have Xu kicks one guy away, and it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about the Orianna ball and the other one that you didn't kick away? Like, suddenly you're still going to get hit. So they did it really well, and it felt like they drafted really well to make it happen.
Zazel in particular, I'm happy that one of the tweets highlighted that. Joey, we don't have enough time to finish up the last 2 pictures before Pick and
I
Ban,
don't
but
get to do this
thoughts
one?
on Zazel that game? I want to get your just honest opinion.
I thought he played insanely well. I thought he was a big reason that they won that game. I think that he really stepped up on the verge of elimination. I'm like really happy to see that from like someone who's a veteran himself playing in LCS. You know, he's played in high pressure matches before, so glad to see him step up. I'll be really interested to see how the recon goes in the next pick ban. It's really like pivotal. Dignitas are blue side, right? So I'll be really interested to see if they first pick it or if Cloud9 bans it. Because I think that champ is just, it's undefeated in the series. It's showing really important.
That's what I was going to draw. I was going to do Rakan, and he's like
matchup.
really buff and strong. And
Oh, that was going to be yours?
Yeah,
Mine
that
was
was
supposed to be Zazel
Yeah.
1v9, so I'm happy that we just talked about it anyway. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joey, for giving us the
Thank you,
props and
Joey.
talking us through your biggest moments from that last game. The Pick and Ban is ready. So we're going to bid farewell to Joey and get into Pick and Ban for game number 4, a pivotal one in this series, as the rest of the games will be. Cloud9 still with their backs against the wall. They need to pick up 2 wins in a row to continue on into the grand finals. Dignitas just need that one. They put themselves in a really good position based on their performance. They just got to right the ship after game 3.
Yeah, it's tilting over. You got a little bit of water on board. The big question is, I mean, I hear this all the time from players and from coaches. If you're going to stop a reverse sweep, you stop it in Game 4. You can't really stop it in Game 5. It is so hard to win 2, lose 2, and then win the last one. But it's way easier to go the other direction. You can stop them here before things can continue going worse. Dignitas will probably either win it here, or I'm going to say that Cloud9 is way more likely to win if Cloud9 can win this game. But Dignitas on the blue side, the Wukong's gone, the Xayah is gone. Those are the Elise and the Varus and the Jace.
Rakan is still up. They banned away the Xayah instead of the Rakan, which makes me wonder, will Rakan still get picked? Because it's not going to be powerful, or as powerful like level 1 in the early levels in lane with the Xayah combo, but it still can function well enough as an engaged support. Vi locked in for XU regardless.
Their extra ban here up against Tomio has been Tomio's most successful champion by far throughout the split, but also Tomio has been one of their most successful characters on the Wukong as banned away, and this has been the ban from Dignitas all 3 games prior, making sure that Diplex and Zeyzal never have access to that Annie. It does go over, and not having success on the Lucian Nami, now they're picking up the Zeri instead.
And it pairs pretty well with the Annie. They still have the flex, could go into the mid lane. But Annie dropped that shield to give that speed boost to Zeri. She loves that to go in, go more aggressive in that lane. Okay, we got the Katarina hover back from XU. I had been tracking that throughout the other games. I know game 1 I didn't see it, but it's back. All right. Yeah. You don't have to ask him an awkward question later on. But let's see what Dignitas Challengers actually lock in. Okay, it's still the Rakan.
Yeah, still a lot of dive coming through from this, right? You cannot, in fact, cleanse out of the Vi ultimate. It is a suppression, and that makes it way easier for somebody else to jump on top. Now, I must say, I hope that we get any champion other than Sivir coming through for Spawn here, because it is a champion. Not because his Spawn, not because his Sivir is bad, but because Sivir Zeri is not the most exciting matchup in the world. Instead, it's going to be the Jinx. They have a lot of lockdown for a single target, and the big question will be, if Jinx gets that first reset and can start popping off, Jinx might be the best marksman in the game. But if you don't get that reset, Jinx is not a particularly good marksman. And so Dignitas have really put themselves in a spot where I want them to have just a little bit more burst to make that one-shot more consistent.
But I will say Jinx's strongest point in the game is oftentimes where we credit Spawn to be the best, but it's not fun to play Jinx into this particular champion. Nocturne will be turning the lights off and presumably diving onto some backlines.
I love this pick coming through from Cloud9. We have not been seeing this for a long time, but it does 2 things. One, it makes dives coming out from Dignitas super confusing because you can't see where your teammates are a lot of the time. The other big thing is that now, it's so much easier for whoever's playing this Annie, whether it be Diplex or Zeyzal, it's so much easier for them to walk up and actually get their stuns down. Yeah. It makes the opponent's dive harder, makes your dive way better, and so, we'll see what Cloud9 can actually do with this. Dignitas Challengers, they are on the blue side, and I mean, one of the big things that Dignitas have relied upon was finding a counter pick for Hoon. It's how they entirely won Game 2. Wasn't super relevant Game 1, but it was, you know, it was still there. And so, Hoon will have to blind something here into Fake God.
Gwen is on the table. Could go for the Gwen blind if you really want to. As it's not even banned away. It's Vex and Vigar banned away from Cloud9. I just want to sneak something in there, Josh, by the way. Because you said...
Yeah, do the sneakler.
The way you were setting that up made me think that it's definitely Tomio on the Nocturne. But hear me out. Diplex played Vel'Koz in this series. I think Diplex is a Nocturne player.
You could sneak that in there. Somebody goes home, is like, why is this in my purse? Why did you put this in my pocket previously? As we do see the
immediately punished for having that.
Why is this in my purse, Steve? Why do I have a purse, Steve?
It just throws it out. It's like, I don't remember putting that in there.
Well, we do have the Ahri coming through, right? You now have a very strong dive. We know where the Annie is going as well. It's going to be going down to Zeyzal, who has had a fair amount of success on this champion. Now, ooh, okay. The shift coming through from Dignitas Challengers. They're like, well, if we can't do our own dive, what if we just have so much damage in our backline that you have to dive us instead? And the Vi can, it's not excited to be peeling, but it can still do it. And as the Cassante blind does come through here for Hoon, what is it that Cloud9 wants to play? My guess would probably be Gnar. It has been something that Fake God did have success on last game, and it will get to a point where it can also play up against the Cassante later on as well, especially once you have the movement speed of the Trinity Force in your boots.
Hear me out.
I'm hearing. You gonna sneak something else in there?
Malphite.
Malphite. Not bad.
Turn the lights off. Go for the engage. There it is.
I like it.
Let's go. We're a Malphite gaming.
All right. This is a cool comp coming out from Cloud9. I love the fact that Nocturne is making this reappearance here. It is giving them so many tools. Fake God, Diplex, Zeyzal, such massive flanking problems now for Dignitas Challengers. And while Insanity has been one of our better Aurelion Soul players, it has been one of the spots where you try not to give it time to scale. You just try and shut it down relatively early on. Dragons 2 and 3 are really going to be where Cloud9 are going to make their money. If they can dominate those fights, or if they can force Dignitas to come in and fight them in those moments, it'll be so good for Cloud9 as they try and complete the reverse sweep.
There's so much engage on both of these teams. I think a lot of it could come down not only to what you said of like Jinx getting a reset, but who can find the engage first. Vision control then becomes a big topic. Lane push becomes a big topic. How do you control the access points to the objectives? Because if you can control that point, get the first engage, you might just win the fight. Game 4 on the Rift between Dignitas Challengers and Cloud9 Challengers. Will it go the distance, or will Dignitas do what they would love to and stop the reverse sweep right here? But Cloud9 trying to reverse jinx themselves, almost guaranteeing a win.
Ooh, we'll see. We'll see if the jinx comes through. I mean, we've seen those backfire. We try and do it to yourself. It's now Cloud9. They're very confident in their ability to come right on back. Actually, also very confident in his ability to spam this emote. He's used it quite a bit. But again, this is going to be a game where I feel like it's less about the top lane again.
I love
what was it? The content.
Continue.
For content.
You're good. For content.
But yeah, Insanity, Diplex, this mid lane is going to be absolutely crazy in terms of how important it is for the game, right? If Insanity is strong, you now have a ticking time bomb on the side of Dignitas that it kind of doesn't matter what Cloud9 does beforehand. If we hit critical mass on Insanity, probably around like the 35 to like 40 minute mark, Dignitas just kind of win a lot of fights by default. So it's definitely a spot where, even though it's a long timer, there is a timer being set here on Cloud9, where after that, their dive opportunities are so much more difficult because Insanity can be literally a screen away and participate.
Outside of the Malphite engagement range, outside of, well, it's kind of hard to be outside of Ahri engagement range, but outside of Andy, most likely, unless she has Flash, the range is insane from ASOL later on in the game. So can Diplex prevent that from happening? Yeah, the mid lane 1v1s have been pretty fun to watch so far in this game, as actually Xyu's going for a little bit of an invade start here. I missed that initially. He went for the Wolves and now into the blue buff.
Yeah, now the big question will be, what does Cloud9 know about this? We haven't seen any wars from them come down, and so if this is a spot where Xyu can find this extra little bit, one of the things that I always love hearing Cubby say is, even when you're playing a composition to scale, you need to find your opportunities to try and actually go for a lot of these plays early on. You need to give yourself opportunities to scale. You need to punch back when you can. And so Xyu taking away a bunch of Tomio's farm, making it harder for him to hit level 6. As Tomio comes through, recognizes, bunch of my camps are gone. Now he has to try and do something on the other side. Xyu going to be cleaning up these Raptors. Tomio gonna try and steal something. It does get spotted.
Yeah, and the smite from Xyu means that he will get all of the camps. Throws up the emote. Tomio can look to take the Krugs, but that's it. So successful invade from Xyu will lead him up 2 camps worth, as Tomio will be down 1, rather down 2, and then trading 1.
Yeah, so it is still going to be a position where suddenly this leaves Xyu far away from the bottom side of the map, and Diamond trying to harass Tomio, but taking a lot of damage for it. And as this wave comes in, it's not the easiest dive in the world, but I've seen Cloud9 go for crazier.
Could still set it up. Annie's stun is very powerful early game. They don't want to pull the trigger despite another wave coming in. That would be a lot of time lost for Tomio. And as Nocturne, one of your biggest goals is to hit level 6 as quickly as you can. So we'll go to the Scuttle and can go to the Gromp afterwards. Meanwhile, Lost, just jumps past Diamond, spawns in a lot of trouble. Oh, barely lives through that. Nicely done from Lost.
Yeah, And Spawn only able to cleanse one of the two abilities as Tomio coming right back on down, forcing Spawn to waste even more time. His entire wave, and potentially more going to be lost here to Spawn. Great play coming through from Lost and Zeyzal, but it is being traded out as XU taking another camp. And so this pressure that has been put down on the bottom side for Lost and Zeyzal is being traded for XU being strong in this game. And Tomio being rather weak, still only level 3, down 3 camps, and you go back to the top side and realize, that trail isn't expanding. Where are my Raptors?
Yeah, interesting. Pinging out the Krugs, and XU stops the back because they see Tomio there. Oh, XU might have some backup here. Diplex's back.
He has red buff still.
Insanity is not going to be here, though. XU could be baited. Does Diplex realize what's happening? XU's over the wall, just takes away the Krugs. And we'll just steal some more of the camps. Hoon's walking up. Damage onto Tomio. Spell shields. Nothing.
Wow.
And it's just a bully right now. XU's not letting Tomio get anything.
Yeah, we said that one of the best ways to actually shut down Cloud9 was through the jungle. This is a masterclass from XU and actually doing so. It has not been about the lanes. It hasn't been about the supports at all this game. It has been about Lawrence XU Shu. But on the other side of the map, because of all the pressure that XU is putting onto Tomio, this wave getting pushed out from Dignitas is going to be in a really tough spot for Spawn and Diamond to try and play with. Spawn being forced to go with the Cole just to try and equalize on some of the farm deficit.
As now more damage in, big engage from Diamond on to Zeyzal. Just a bit of a chunk in there so far. No kills from either side, either team. It's been about the jungles interacting with each other, less than the jungles interacting with the lanes. So we're seeing out kind of a natural progression of how the lanes would play out without any of that interaction. Save Tomio coming down here. Now XU's coming down here. Lost has flash, has heal. And now XU's actually got to be a little careful. Tomio flashing to try and get the body block and now they're onto Diamond. Battle dances to safety. Lost will not go on to the chompers. Just a couple of summoner spells blown.
Yeah. Good awareness coming out from both sides, right? As Cloud9 tries to abuse the fact that XU's Vault Breaker can be stopped, forces the trade of flashes. But still, we are continuing to see that XU is a little bit better on the jungle pathing this time around, but it is going to be trading back the Dragon. Going over to Cloud9 this time, unless there's some crazy opportunity for a steal. And as everybody from Dignitas backs away, it is worth noting, yet again, up in the top side, Hoon is outpacing Fake God. Consistently looking for these small hits on the turret, getting those demolished procs, and uh-oh.
Lost goes in onto Spawn, flashes aggressively. They want the damage. The stun does not land onto both, but it lands onto one, and that means Spawn does not have a lot of help here. But he survives it.
Diamond.
That was surprising.
Diamond is so good. Did you see how many auto attacks from Lost he stopped just by standing in the way? Uh-oh, Tomio.
Yeah, he's walking up, sees XU, does not realize Hoon is right there. That's a level 7 Cassante.
Uh-oh.
And they're baiting him in, thinking that they were alone. Oh, but it's still first blood. The Diplex, they had enough damage for XU. That's not a massive ace ult. Early game doesn't do too much. Hoon could be in trouble. Insanity is not packing the damage that he needs. Cloud9 will back off, though. They don't have too much with a Malphite ult down.
It is just a 1-for-1 at the end of it, but Danny will be stacking up a little bit. So the big question will be who actually got the gold off of that fight, who actually got the kills. Because overall it's still pretty even. Hoon has 1, Diplex has 1. That is a little bit scary for the Dragon.
Basil's up here, Charm lands onto Diamond, has flash available, saves it, battle dances to safety. Supports are now on the map though, we're past the straight laning phase. Is there anything crazy gonna happen here? Fake God does not have flash, does not have ultimate, and now XU has level 6, goes in onto Fake God. Get the kill to Hoon most likely. XU just saves at the end there. Still, gold over to Dignitas as Lost finds Spawn all alone. Jinx does not win though.
And it's not over.
Another kill over to Lost, but Tomio once more onto XU. Hit 6 off of it, a double kill to Tomio.
Crazy stuff all over the map yet again. 4-2 as we see kills in every single lane all of a sudden. We see Diplex with one off of the invade. Tomio, despite being down off of so many of those invades, has recouped all the gold. We'll take a look at the bottom lane play. Remember, lost so much closer to 6 based on forcing Spawn off the wave. Gets it instantly. Jumps on top of the opposing AD carry, and Spawn doesn't really have a whole lot left to do other than just try and trade damage. Doesn't recognize immediately how to turn it around, doesn't have the tools left for it. But here, again, Zeyzal comes back towards the top side a little bit faster on the rotation. Diamond caught between multiple positions and taking a lot of damage up on the top side. Ends up being in a really rough position. Can't help the top side of the map, can't help the bottom side of the map.
And massive props to Tomio. The only player playing in this entire best of 5 series without LCS experience, gets so focused early game by XU. Is level 4 to XU hitting level 6, or I think it was somewhere around there. But it doesn't matter. He comes back and makes the big play. Nocturne ult is so impactful, especially the first one that you get. And Tomio is really stepping up to the plate with that first use.
Yeah. Also going for the stride breaker. We'll have the AoE slow to throw down, and so Dignitas on the back foot now, down 1,000 gold as they are trying to prevent Cloud9 from winning this game and moving them to Game 5. Dignitas, I mean, did such a good job in the previous 2 games, right? They were winning a lot of skill checks. They won a lot of the lanes in Game 1, but they are picking weaker lanes as Diamond has gotten caught out a couple times. This might be another.
Zeyzal had Tibber's stun available, but not immediately pulling the trigger, so Diamond gets out. But yeah, to echo that sentiment, Dignitas' first 2 games looked way more dominant than their last 2 have so far. Tomio's here, does not have the ultimate available yet. Nocturne Paranoia is a game changer around these objectives, though, and it should be up before that Herald goes down.
As they start looking for around this Herald, Cloud9 have more members here earlier. Jinx is on the other side trying to farm up, but will be taking pressure from Lost as they look at a potential another turret plate. Hazel doesn't know he's on vision just quite yet, but it doesn't quite matter as they look for an opportunity.
Snap engage, Paranoia is used, but they got onto Zeyzal. They don't damage him fast enough, but it doesn't matter. There's so much damage coming out from Insanity. He's finally down. Cloud9 are turning the play. Fake Gods joined in. Hoon and Diamond in trouble. Diamond will get away. Hoon will trade one more for his own life, but Cloud9 absorbed the play.
Wow, 2 for 2 overall. 3 for 2. We saw how strong the Nocturne ult actually was to stop this play from coming to full fruition. Insanity has to go super far in order to make sure that they can contribute to it because they lose all vision. They try and jump on Zeyzal and they get them relatively early on. But look at the damage coming through. Insanity tries to get to the other side of the fight, but with the fear coming down in the middle, nowhere left to go. Diplex has his choice of targets, and they pick up several more at this point. It just feels as though Cloud9, they have such a good read on how to take up all of these different fights, whereas Dignitas, they're feeling like they're playing from even further behind than they are.
Dignitas after that player now in a 1,500 gold hole as Zeyzal. Another stun on the Diamond, not enough damage to burst follow up there. But Dragon has started up. This would be their second of the game. Both Paranoias from Tomio have been game changers so far in this game for Cloud9 in the lead right now. And looking like we might be approaching that 5-game series. Silver scrapes the dream. They still got a little more work to do to get there, but it's a good start for Cloud9.
It's a great start from Cloud9. They have so much pressure on the map. The players that need to be strong are, you have Diplex, Tomio, and Lost, all able to get a ton of damage down. And then your flankers, they are doing just fine, right? Fake God and Zeyzal, they have the tools necessary to actually go for fights, even despite all the pressure that Dignitas were putting on them earlier on. Now, it is worth noting, even with the Zeri, they are still on a bit of a timer. If Dignitas can get to the late game team fights with Insanity, we have not seen the skies descend just quite yet. That does so much damage, and it's pretty much undodgeable, right? Everybody's going to be taking 400 or 500 damage easily later on in the game, and also, it's going to be doing a ton of damage across the board with the amount of ways that Insanity has to just stop waves from coming in to hit your turret.
Dignitas need to get Insanity to that point. He hasn't even completed Rod of Ages at 13.5 minutes into the game, a little behind the curve right now, at least from what I've been seeing from other ASOL players. I think a lot of that has to do with Diplex doing better in this 1v1, also getting fed from some of the fights. 3-0 and 1. Diplex is playing very well so far around as Dignitas looked for a death burst, seeing if they can spot out Tomio walking around, but Tomio's actually just taking his camps. He's feeling fine.
Yeah. Tomio, has not been under the same amount of pressure as XU and Diamond will be dropping this here towards the mid lane, and they should be able to get a crash, but I think this goes almost entirely over towards... Oh, it's after 14 minutes. Nobody got any plates from that at all. It's just damage onto the structure. At least we finally see Insanity should be backing away for the Rod of Ages. Hoon has not been able to build a large enough lead. Maybe got a couple of plates up on the top side, 2-2-2, but is not currently the same kind of split push threat that we saw on the Gwen previously. Feels as though the win conditions for Insanity are, or for Dignitas are Insanity getting to late game, maybe finding a couple picks out, but it's so hard to know that they're picks when there's a Nocturne on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I think slowing the game down is a big focus for Dignitas. Early on, they were playing aggressive, trying to get Tomio behind. Nocturne hitting level 6 very late meant that the team could play more aggressive. Hoon could push up more, try and get a little bit more advantage for himself in the lane, but that's not where they're going to now have a win condition. It is still about the team fights. It is still about the scaling. And now, Insanity has that Rod of Ages, so we'll start stacking that up over the next 10 minutes. We'll be feeling much better as you're also going towards that Saris.
Yeah. I also want to point out that we built this day up as so much about Zeyzal versus Diamond. Zeyzal been playing this game great, huge in the last game as well. And Diamond, despite being on the undefeated Rakan for the day, gotten called out several times. It feels as though Cloud9's read on what Diamond is doing this game has been really, really strong. The Rakan has not been able to find any of these engages, to find any of these ganks. And so, feels as though the original Cloud9 Academy support has been having a bit more opportunity to be strong, and now Lost just kind of running him down.
Lost is at that point on Zeri where you can just do things, and the opponent can't really stop you
love things
from doing many of those things. Yeah, doing things is super fun in League of Legends. Generally, I like to be the player, or at least on the team, with a player that can do things.
Yeah.
Dignitas can't do many things right now.
True.
They're just kind of waiting for their power switch to come in. Maybe they can play with XU still. They have picked tools if they can find members of Cloud9 isolated, but Cloud9 are playing it pretty respectfully so far.
Yeah, and because they are in a spot where they are relatively strong, Cloud9, I mean, it gives Tomio the freedom to just kind of sit in all of his different camps. You just go farm those up, and as long as you can keep your jungle free from wards, Dignitas will never know where Tomio is, and sometimes the threat of the gank, the threat of the ultimate is worth as much as actually using it. And this is definitely one of those spots where it's preventing Hoon from being too aggressive down here in the bottom side because he doesn't know where Nocturne is. It's preventing XU and Diamond from trying to make any of those plays up on the top side because they don't know where Tomio is. And if you don't know where Tomio is, anything that you think you have an extra person, you might actually just be even.
The least useful Nocturne is the one that you can see. The most terrifying one is the one that you have no vision on. And right now, Dignitas do not have vision on Nocturne. You can approach from any angle, any lane. Dignitas have to pay a lot of respect to that, but also they have a little bit of time to work with. This isn't Dragon Soul yet, but Cloud9 are getting towards that Dragon Soul very quick in the game. Looks like Dignitas will most likely just forego this one. Instead, they're taking the time to clear out some of the vision topside. They assume Tomio's bot side because the objective's coming up. They feel confident to go for this, try and get some gold onto spawn. If they can get this turret, that might be a good enough trade.
Yeah. As they get it, I mean, they really desperately just need money right now. Down only about 1,000 gold, but 3 dragons means effectively a whole lot more than that. And they know if they are not first on the objective, it is so hard for them to do anything. They need to be getting picks before the objective actually spawns. And so typically, one of the things that we have praised for both of these squads, Steve, over the course of the split, is that both of them, both Diamond and Zeyzal, have been massive shot callers. 2 of the best shot callers that we currently have in the league. And Insanity has helped out quite a bit with that as well, being the other major voice on Dignitas. But I guarantee, if I'm playing this Aurelion Soul, and the rest of the team starts asking me, like, hey, what are you supposed to do? I'm like, I don't know, just give me more time to farm, and eventually I'll carry. But, like, I'm not there yet. What do you want me to do?
Oh, maybe they find out Lost right now. Going for the further up engage. Diamond looks for it. Lost to a safe position. Teleport in from Hoon and Insanity, but the re-engager fake God! And Diplex catches out XU. Flash over the wall from Hoon. Paranoia popped. Tomio continues the play, and that is 2 fallen. Cloud9 punching back.
Wow.
It's
They
not
want
over.
more. Here's Diplex.
He's trying to corral them. Dignitas need to get away. Diplex will not look for too much, so Dignitas survive. Cloud9 have many members here. They're looking to take this turret.
Yeah, and this turret's just going to be completely gone, even with the black hole from Insanity. Cannot get close enough to prevent the minions from getting to the structure. And Cloud9 turn around a huge play. Dignitas committed 2 teleports, bunch of ults for that, and they get nothing for it. They don't even get Lost Flash, right? Like, that's the kind of thing where Cloud9, they're trying to turn around a bunch of these plays, but they can play entirely reactive for a little while. They know that they just need to be here to make sure that Lost can be strong. They need to do something, but the Mountain Soul coming up relatively soon is something that they need to do.
Zazul's stun onto Diamond, preventing the knockup. If that lands, maybe Lost is in trouble. But the Rakan doesn't land the knockup. Lost can then position more safe. And the teleports come in from the Cloud9 solo laners also. Paranoia means Tomio gets there from super long range.
Yeah. Great stuff coming through from Cloud9. Good pointing out from what Zazul can do. Now we say Cloud9, we're going to make their money around Dragon 2 and 3. Have a small lead in terms of money, but they have a massive lead in terms of the Dragons. If they get one more, suddenly Dignitas' abilities to go for a pick massively reduced, so they're looking for Diplex now.
They're not pulling the trigger. Diplex clears the wave. I feel like maybe that was their only shot. Paranoia was still down, but by the time they can go for that again, Paranoia will most likely be up. Tomio can answer the play, so Dignitas not finding the window. They could have been a game changer here. Kill onto Diplex, more gold from the turret. Try and funnel it into your carries. Insanity has 2 items now, but Spawn is still really struggling.
Yeah.
I want to take a look at the gold to see just how far behind the carries are for Dignitas.
Ooh. 1.3, 1.8 for Insanity and Spawn. Insanity potentially looking for an opportunity.
Oh, they're going for Lost still has Flash, though. They land a big combo. They kill Lost!
They got him!
Shut down for Dignitas. That's what they were looking for the first time. They don't get it then, but they do execute the second.
And now, I mean, they are hovering over towards the Baron. Loss is so crucial for Cloud9's ability to go for some of these fights. As they start hitting it, we can see it, but Cloud9, they're going to have to check every single bush. And where Diamond is going to be crucial for them to make sure that Cloud9 cannot get in. There's the ward.
Down to 4K, down to 3K. Can Tomio get into the pit? He's zoned away with the black hole, and that is Baron secure for Dignitas. Fakeout has to use the ultimate. Only had 1 member. That wasn't an engage. He was just trying to stay alive, but he won't even succeed in that. Spawn gets the kill. Diplex in trouble. Hoon's going for Hoon in time. Can't quite get onto the Ahri, though. Playing with a lot of range here. As Hoon's using these to dodge out. Diplex tries to get the outplay, does not succeed. That's a Baron to Dignitas.
And the goal is suddenly even. We were saying that Insanity needed more time to scale. Give him some kills, give him a Baron buff as well. Cloud9, they are now looking at this Mountain Dragon. If they can get this, that should be enough for them to potentially look for game-ending plays. But that is a huge confidence breaker. The one thing that they still have, Cloud9, they still have the ultimate from Zeri. They still have the flash from Zeri. But Lost now has to play a little bit further back in order to make sure that the team can play around him. Dignitas, they're coming out in force. Insanity desperately needs Skies Descend in order to get the big ultimate. The small ultimate is okay. As you take another look at this, watch XU at the beginning of this, right? He holds off, makes sure that he can actually get the smite secured. And then from there, it's mostly just about the fact, like you called out, Fake God only gets 1 person, doesn't get out of the fight. And without front line, without the back line to do enough damage, it's just Dignitas looking for any stragglers that they can fight.
Cloud9 are completely zoned away. Diplex looks for the cute little outplay there. Doesn't find it. And now, match point for Dignitas. Baron for Dignitas. The Dragon Soul is spawning in 10 seconds, and Cloud9 do not have control over the area. Dignitas are actually crashing in. Big engage here onto the back line. Lost is in trouble, but it's actually Insanity that could be traded. XU has to jump away. Diamond keeping him alive for now. XU finally goes down. Lost absorbed the play. Cloud9 might just turn it. Hoon now trying to frontline for the team, but Spawn and Insanity have called off the play. They say, good luck, buddy. Maybe try and trade 1. He gets Tomio, but does not get more, as Insanity actually went back over the wall, flashes back, says that was a mistake. And Diamond now trying to see if they can just keep vision around the Dragon. Dignitas trade 2 for 1. Jungler's down. Do Cloud9 want to go for this?
Zany's still sticking around, right? With XU down, they cannot afford to give this over. That's a lot of engaged ultimates coming up from Cloud9 that are gone.
All right, they don't have a smite. They don't have a big burst tool. They do not have any ultimates to play with. Can Cloud9 still do this against a full health ASOL? Insanity, this is your moment.
Wow.
This is what ASOL can do in these games. When you have those two items, when you have the Stardust stacked up. Dragon's down to 2,500 gold. Teleport's coming in. XU's back in.
He gets
it! He makes it in time to the play! And Dignitas will look to sweep the fight after the objective secure. That's 2 down to Dig.
In the darkest hour, Lawrence comes back. He takes the Baron. He gets the steal on the Mountain Soul. Dignitas are in such a good position now. They have Insanity. He's scaling up. He's gotten so much gold over these past couple of fights. But it's still positioned. As they start taking down some of these structures, the gold lead is going to balloon. They're going to get so much more money off of this. They have so much more control. And the two people who need to be strong, Insanity and Spawn, they are. They have the damage. They have caught up. Insanity is ahead now, Steve. And Dignitas, we said they needed to win this game. They can't afford to go to a game 5, and they are right back in it.
Cloud9 are sweating right now. Where's your social media manager joking about the reverse sweep now? Dignitas are looking to pinch that in the bud right now. Let's get another look at this amazing replay. XU coming in clutch.
I mean, the second fights coming through from Dignitas are so good, but like you called out, coming through the smite away, there's nothing that can outburst that at this point, but Insanity doing so much work. Without ultimates, when there are no ultimates for Cloud9, their team is nowhere near as good. But Dignitas, they still have the Dragon. They still have so many tools with which to play, and they are so strong. They create so much pressure. The black hole, it doesn't look that big now, but give it more time. That black hole pick up the entire wave, the entire lane will be all there with the Space Dragon. And so, Dignitas, they're continuing to look for even more space right now. They're starting to set up around the Baron, but it doesn't spawn for another minute and a half. But with scaling now on their side, they find 10 more minutes. Dignitas are absolutely winning. For now, they just need to make sure that they pick the right targets. We saw that last fight, Steve. As Dignitas dove, Cloud9 counter dove. We didn't see Insanity and Spawn do anything. Dignitas do need to make sure that their backline can be active.
Gosh, I'm just going to say it now. I think we're at that point where one more fight can decide the game. Yeah. Dignitas, if they win this next one, it could just be over. They have stopwatches on XU, the primary engage, stopwatches on Spawn, who will be getting engaged on. They're investing in one final punch right now. Well, we're on Cloud9 side, it's lost. This Zeri has to step up right now. 3 items completed. You were one of the first picks for Cloud9. They built the roster, or rather the draft around this pick. The battle of the carries. Who's going to rise up? Who's going to fall?
It's the second fight, right? Every other fight is usually what you look at for the Sky's Descent from Insanity. He does have the big ultimate now. As you called out, they do have the stopwatches. The one thing I want to see coming out from Dignitas, if they can get Spawn to a 3rd item, if they can get them to the Infinity Edge, suddenly that's a huge spike in the amount of damage that Dignitas can actually do. We also have Insanity now on the Seraphs completed, and people are already posturing. That's the lights out.
Paranoia pulled. Cloud9 are looking for it. Tomio goes very deep. Just trying to push away the damage so they can focus on to Hoon. Hoon's in a lot of trouble. They're going to take him down. Oh, he barely survives. Sky's Descent just shreds through Cloud9 as the re-engage happens. XU's in there. Can he stay alive? Lost is walking forward. Lost thinks that this is the angle. The Zeri, is this the pop-up moment? No.
Oh,
no. He's lost out of the fight. Dignitas have done it.
Insanity.
The AD carry. That should just be game! Dignitas have a double kill to the Dragon. Insanity's looking for more. Hoon lived. Teleports back into the fight. Zazel's out of there. Diplex is out of there. Cloud9 Challengers are out of there. Out of the upper bracket. As Dignitas, redemption for the core roster, dissected in summer. But they're back again, running it into the grand finals.
The day begins like the day ends. Lost thinks he sees the angle, but gets shut down. And now Dignitas, Bacon, the only one left. He doesn't have the take steps. He can't kill the wave. Spawn is still alive. He's gonna kill the firster. He's gonna reset up that one.
Lost
There's no ultimates.
Can they make the miracle happen? I don't think it's meant to be. Insanity's still up. He's feared. He's stunned. Zazel might have just heard it. It's the play for Cloud9. Re-engage from X2. Launches out again. That's it. That's the game. That's the series. And Dignitas are on to the grand finals.
Hero plays coming through from Insanity and XU with that one. And Diamond, he still had the quickness when Lost jumped in. He didn't use it before that, shutting them down. Wow, oh my god, I thought for sure after some of those fights we were going to be going to 5 games, but Dignitas shut it down. Fantastic stuff coming through from Insanity, fantastic stuff coming through from XU, and Insanity, this is going to be another proving grounds in a row for him coming through. These guys were not with him last time, but he is in the finals again.
2 finals appearances for Insanity, and the team is together this time around. Not the same could be said last summer, but let's see if they got it in them to take it all. Cloud9 dropped to the lower bracket. They'll be waiting for tomorrow's match now to see the winner of that as their next opponent. And that is such a threat for whoever wins that one. But we're going to send it to a short break here before we close it out with an interview from Spawn, the ringer, coming in for Dignitas Challengers, getting on to the grand finals yet again. We'll be back. Hello and welcome back, everyone, for our post-series Verizon interview. I have Spawn, the AD carry from Dignitas, coming on to chat with us about the series win. You qualified for the grand final, so first off, congratulations, Spawn.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome to see the team finding success going into it. This is now 2 finals in a row that the organization has found. And I actually want to start with last summer because this is kind of the core of the roster that made the run in the regular season to get to that position in Proving Grounds. But then LCS required reinforcements. You got moved up. So what was the experience like last summer, and how does that compare now to this spring, having the gang back together?
I mean, last split, like summer, I was like excited. I think like we could have won it. I mean, also like they almost won it too, right? They came second. They were smurfing. So I mean, it kind of sucks that I didn't get to play Proving Grounds playoffs because I never won Academy. I was like, oh, this could be the split, you know? But I mean, this time, you know, run it back, but have Diamond instead of JJ, so we still have the 4 core. We still have the, you know, really good Thresh player, so I think we can win, yeah.
So you're comfortable, you know, it wasn't a big change for you, for your lane partner.
Yeah.
I want to go back to this last series that just happened, though, because Cloud9 Challengers are #1 seed coming into the season, even though it was really close between your 2 teams. Game 4, we talked about it on broadcast. It's important to shut down a reverse sweep before you get to that Game 5, because the momentum's kind of already in their side. So what was your mentality? What was the team's mentality going into that Game 4 to say, no, we got to end this right here, right now?
I mean, after the 3rd game we lost, we're kind of all just like chilling. Like, okay, you know, early game kind of went to shit, so it is what it is, you know? We're confident, so we're like, okay, guys, let's just pick our champs we want, and then we're still confident it's going to be like game 1-2.
Okay. Hey, I mean, confidence is key when you're trying to make it to those grand finals. When did you know in the series, though, that you were going to win it? Was there a moment in, obviously game 4 towards the end, you know, but like earlier in the series, was there a moment you were like, nah, this is ours, we got this?
I mean, like, I would say first game, as soon as we're calling W's, Nami heals, I was like, okay, this lane's gonna be easy, and so will the series.
That was like within the first 5 minutes, right? So within 5 minutes of game 1, you knew.
Yeah, minions touch, GG.
Well, you know what? We got to talk. I got to figure out what you're eating, what's giving you this confidence right now, because I need this in my life. All right, Spud. Final question I have for you, as obviously you're preparing for the grand finals. Actually, I have 2 questions. I just lied to you. But first question, who do you think is going to be your opponent in the grand finals out of the 3 teams remaining?
I would say Cloud9 will probably come back.
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, any 3 of those teams could come. Like, but I think Cloud9's probably the favorites, but I wouldn't like count out TL or Fear.
You say TL would be a rematch of last summer, though. That'd be kind of
True. Good get revenge.
For a broadcast side, we can do so much with that story.
Yeah.
And then the final question, because I hear that you had a specific, a lesson that you were reading. You've been doing some light reading, right? Ahead of today's match. Do you care to share with the class what lessons you picked up?
Yeah, for sure. So, we're all reading. We have book club here. And Sun Tzu once said, find it here, it's hooning time. Yeah.
It's hooning time. You heard it here. It's written in the book. If it's written down, you have to believe it, right?
It's written down.
Yeah, like before the internet. You can't trust everything you read on the internet, but in a book,
yeah,
you can trust that. Thank you, Spawn, for coming on. Any shout-outs you have for anybody watching at home?
Yeah, shout out to my family and friends back home. Shout out to Dignitas and our, coaches and amazing staff.
Awesome. Everybody working to get this team to the grand finals. And we'll be rooting for you there, Spawn. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us, and best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll bring back on the desk to close out the day. Joshi. I love seeing Spawn in interviews. He's always fun to talk to. And again, this is the core that gets to actually go for that championship now.
Yeah, it's so cool to see these guys coming back. It was a very different version of Dignitas last time in the championships. They had so many of these players doing a lot of work for them during the regular season that now they make it all the way towards the end, all on their own, no substitutes required. And they did it against some tough opponents too, right? Taking down FlyQuest Challengers, 100 Thieves, and Cloud9 in order to get to the grand finals. Every single one of those are killers.
No slouches. Joey, thoughts at the end of the series, at the end of the day?
Last year, I thought that Dignitas, they didn't really have a chance of winning finals, even though they were in it. But this year, I'm pretty sure they're going to win. They definitely played really well today. If they play like they did today in the first, 2 games, I think they're for sure going to beat whoever of the 3 opponents they play versus. They looked really clean in those games, so hopefully they can focus on what they did good in those games and focus away from what they did bad in the 3rd and 4th game.
Okay. We'll wait to see who their opponent is, obviously. So let's take a look at the bracket updated here to reflect today's series. Tomorrow, we have Fear versus TLC. The winner of that will move on to play against Cloud9 Challengers. Joey, Spawn said that it would be Cloud9 in the grand finals. Do you agree, or do you think Fear TLC have a chance?
I think TLC will beat Fear 3-1. I think it kind of depends on the Cloud9 that shows up on the day and the TL that shows up on the day, because TL has been pretty good, but they've also been pretty inconsistent in when they've looked good. So I think if Arrow shows up, he just pops off carries, they can definitely beat Cloud9. I'm interested in that matchup because it's Lost versus Arrow. They were both on IMT at the same time, so it's a spicy bowling matchup to me.
Yeah, I think so much of it, like you said, is one, they used to play alongside each other, but the biggest thing is that Arrow and Kim Down pretty okay in the regular season, but holy moly, if they showed up in playoffs, man, they have done so much better.
That's the wrong one. No, Dignitas is up. Dignitas won.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Figured it out.
Woo!
But the way that this bottom lane is played for Team Liquid Challengers and leveled up so much recently, I think gives them a fighting chance against Cloud9, but they still got to go through Fear. We've seen a lot of teams have a little bit more success against Fear than they did in the regular season. Maybe Team Liquid will continue their dark horse run after getting knocked down to the bottom bracket almost at the beginning of the tournament.
I gotta say, Joey, actually, if we bring back the cams, because we need to get this one clippable just in case. You realize that Cincinnati Fear saved their receipts, right? Anytime anyone doubts them or predicts against them, they clip it. So can we get you on camera now repeating what you said? 3-1 TL.
Oh, 3-1 TL, easy. I believe in Arrow. I'll take it that to the grave. I'm pretty confident that TL will win. If they don't, oh well. Is what it is. But, I'm pretty good
then you'll
analyst.
just get Naruto a run on.
I'm just saying, everyone said Cloud9 today, and I said Dig, and Dig won pretty convincingly. So
True. 100%
Joey's
success
the
rate
genius.
on the desk so far. Not too bad. All right, well, that will do it here for our upper bracket finals. Dignitas take a 3-1. Cloud9 Challengers awaiting their next opponent. You can catch that action tomorrow as the lower bracket semis will continue on in the NACL playoffs. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to watch the show. We put the show on for you. We wouldn't have the show if it weren't for you. Thank you to all the players, especially wouldn't have the show if they weren't competing for their shot on the path to LCS. Thank you, Joey, for coming on. You're over here.
Let's go,
on
Joey.
this side of me. Thank you for coming on to the desk. Round of applause for Joey, everybody. Woo! Where can people find you, Joey? This is your chance to show.
There's John on Twitter. That's it. I stream sometimes on Joey Lowell, but not as much as I used to.
All right, we'll work on that. Maybe we'll get you some. And we got Joshi as well. Thank you for coming on, Joshi. Thank you to the producers for keeping the gears rolling. Rally Cry, we really do love you, despite some of the other things we said on this broadcast. We're going to go raid twitch.tv/Luger. Make sure to tune in and tell him that the LCS sent you. We'll be back with more action tomorrow, and we'll see you there.